And welcome to Recreation Atlanta. My name is Dave Vincent. This is the WPH Race4Eight Season Number 1 kickoff with this live broadcast. Alongside me is our number 1 seed, the number 1 player in the world, Killian Carroll. This is David Fink and Danny Cordova. Now a hometown boy Cordova is, and he has a crowd with him. They're going to go up to battle here in this quarterfinal match, Killian.
All right, we have David Fink serving 0, serve 0. Short.
You heard that Dave Fink is serving first here, and our referee is Ryan Pesh.
Point.
It's a nice pass shot by David Fink.
1, serve 0. Set out.
Are the courts slick in here? Because you saw some players yesterday a little bit late in the afternoon look up to the referee saying that there were slides, but it doesn't seem like it's dramatic. But did you see anything?
Yeah, there's a small slip on the left side wall.
Right, okay.
Just, especially when you're doing pass shots.
Set out.
Are the courts particularly fast?
They're actually extremely fast. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that Danny Cordova
1,
should have
serve
the
0.
advantage, especially playing in his home court. Used to this kind of speed of play.
And he has a lot of fans here. A lot of his co-workers came down yesterday. I thought that was pretty cool to
0
see.
serves 1.
Some of these folks probably have never seen handball all come down and support Danny.
I'd say so, yeah. I'd say he's definitely getting motivation and a big drive off the support of his fans here in Atlanta.
And family, too. There's a ton of family in town. And friends.
Point.
It's a nice shot.
It's a perfect shot right there. Got tied up just a little bit. Referee let him play through it, obviously. Open shot. Danny takes it and gets it. We're at 1-1. We're going to 15. You have to win by 2. Best 2 out of 3. That ball is called short.
Second serve. Set up.
Dave seems to be automatic from about that dotted line. Killian.
Oh, he definitely is. His kill shot very up high, especially from the back of the court. If it's either a straight kill or to the left corner, Dave seems to definitely do well in that position.
Have you noticed that a lot of the players on the tour, especially in America, shoot from the hip more so? You see Dave doing it here as he gets a little bit older. He's shooting up around the hip, even with his right and his left.
3 serves 1.
You know, Sean Lenning style.
Yeah. Well, we call Sean very lazy, but I don't think Dave is very lazy in that regard. I think he's just used to playing at that kind of sort of height, especially from tennis and golf. You know, that swing is definitely a lot more similar that way.
Mm-hmm. I was reviewing some photos of you, and I see that you almost scrape the ground sometimes. But you've also developed that from the hip shot. I saw that at the last stop at the Nationals. You hit a couple kill shots from the hip. I thought, well, that's something new. You must be either developing it or it's just part of the way the game is.
Yeah, that's a bit of both. I think it rubs off me being here in America, and also I train that way just so to be ready for different things, you know. But Dave certainly is an expert at shooting from the hip.
That's a beautiful pass there. It's an open paddle where he slices that ball down the right wall. Score is 2-3 here. Should be a big setup.
Point.
Oh, that's a nice finish.
I like that wide right corner kill option there.
Oh, the sidewall front wall?
Right.
Yeah.
3 serves 3.
Most players try to go right back down or they push it to the left. Dave Fink's been hurt pretty much all summer long with a knee injury, which is something that he hasn't had throughout his career. He's sort of like LeBron James, where there is no injury.
3 serves 3 again.
And then just the last couple of years, his back and then his knee, he's suffering, I believe it's arthritis. But this sport, everybody has one.
Point. 4 serves 3.
Now let's talk about Danny's wicked serve there. It wasn't dramatic, but he did get it.
5 serves 3.
He did get Dave off balance enough to set him up for the next shot.
You know, Dave's a kill artist himself, or at least he's a guy that goes for that ground and pound style. And if you take him out of that by hopping the ball down the middle, that's what I see Danny
6
doing.
serves 3.
He'll go down the right, he'll go down the left, but that one down the middle, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen unless you're a good reader of the direction that he's really spinning the ball. But I suppose Danny does disguise it very well.
Set up.
But in a sense that I think you should always leave it off the back wall. It gives you more of a chance to kind of set up. But Dave likes to jump on the ball, be more offensive.
3
and,
serves 6.
try and control the court. Sometimes it's better just to leave it off.
That's a nice shot right there from Danny.
Well, Danny is playing really well at the start of the first game.
There is something to say about playing in your home club. You're just so familiar with the court. Some people, it's sort of taboo, but it's true.
Yeah, I presume he's especially more comfortable with the hinders of the court. From the outside, it doesn't look like there's any hinders, but the front of the court, there's actually a lot of dents that the ball can make a slight change and a slight adjustment, and obviously the slide that we talked about earlier.
You saw Dave slightly mishit a ball there about 5 shots back. Danny just rolled with it.
Point.
Another great shot from Danny.
Danny's very composed. Definitely feels in control.
7 serves 3.
Fink believes this ball is broken, I believe.
That's a lovely serve.
Amazing. Wasn't necessarily going for it, but, you know, in this game you are trying to hit that ball into that side wall, so it's not like he wasn't trying it.
Short.
Sometimes they're just a little bit more beautiful than
Second serve.
You're trying to make them look.
Side out.
Speaking of hops, that was a huge natural hook there from the lefty.
3 serves 8. Side out.
Oh. It's a bad mistake by David Fink.
8 serves 3. Point. Nine serves 3. Side out. 3 serves 9.
Somehow Dave gets that back. Danny puts it into that corner.
Side out.
Nice shot there from Danny Cordova. You know, Danny's really improved his game over the last few years. He's just taking these little steps, and every one of those little steps puts him into almost into a full different tier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, he's still playing the same handball he did last year, but I think he's getting a lot more consistent. He's definitely improving on the game that he already had.
I see those right corner kills as something that I don't recall him doing a lot of. I know his brother does it a lot, but as I see it, it's pretty darn impressive.
No, it definitely is. I mean, he's putting away the chances he's getting, and especially the serve. He's really kind of making Dave Fink off balance and getting a great setup on the return.
We're at Recreation Atlanta, Georgia, where the Peachtree Open is taking place, part of the Ron Cook Memorial Classic. I want to thank Lance Wachholtz and those before him that have helped out with this tournament throughout the years, like Pat Boyd.
Play resumes. Daniel serving. 9 serves 3.
And a lot of great ambassadors of the game around here. Pretty cool tournament, actually, Killian. Not a lot of participants. That was a swing and miss by Danny that hit Dave.
Was there contact?
And that's the one where Dave was saying yesterday that he felt that was part of the rule that shouldn't exist. Where if the guy swings and misses and it's not going to bounce.
If you can't get out of the way, it's a point, right?
You know, he says if.
I suppose, but it clearly states in the rule that the ball has to hit your hand.
Yeah, but if you're standing up against the wall and he hits you with it off the front, it's a point, right?
What he's saying is what his argument is that the
serves
player
three.
is in front of him and he's hindered by the ball, so why should it only be offensive hindering when it could be defensive hindering? You could be hindered as a defensive player just like you were hindered as an offensive player. Saying that he's now the defensive player and he's hindered, why wouldn't you call it for me when I can't see it, when you would call it for the offensive player in the same position? That was his argument.
I suppose, yeah.
I can see the argument. But I say, he goes, hey, I hit, I said, that he didn't hit a perfect shot because, you're in way of it because you got hit by the ball. So you weren't in the perfect position when you hit that shot. So it's your fault. But you don't win arguments when you talk to Dave. They're all losses.
Side out. Three serves 10. Point.
That's the serve we saw yesterday against
Four
Ryan
serves
Pesh.
10.
David certainly needs a lot more of those if he wants to win.
Side out.
Well, he finds himself down 10-4 here.
10 serves 4. Short. Second serve. Point. Eleven serves 4. Short. Second serve. Side out.
You don't know this yet, Killian, but you're still, what's your age?
4 serves 11.
24.
Okay, you're 24. Dave is 40 years old. And when you get up there, you hear a lot of people talk about how your body recovers. You watch Dave and Danny go after it here. Nice get from Cordova. You have to remember that Dave Fink is going to turn 41 this year.
Point.
And it's tough for your body to recover. And what I've found out, also being in my 40s, you could be in a tournament like this, and you're stiff, and things aren't working right. And then all of a sudden, game number 2 comes around, and now you're loosened. And even though Dave has great prep and great post-match cool downs and yoga and all that stuff that he does, it just takes a while. Your body's not as responding as it is at your age, 24.
Timeout. That's your
I'd
first
imagine
timeout.
that Dave definitely have to spend more time recovering between matches and doing a lot of prep, and Joe being more diligent when it comes to recovery. But, at the same time, he's still playing the best handball of his life at the age of 40. He's definitely matured into a great player. So, it works both ways.
You played him in New Orleans, and he was stealth, and it was it was a difficult battle in that game number 1. You forced a tiebreaker and then eventually beat him in that tiebreaker where you came back. And I think you saw firsthand when he's on his game and when he's fully rested and his body's feeling good, he's dangerous. Absolutely dangerous.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think it's his body that has anything to do with his losses, because it's just a typical Dave Fink thing to do, to go to a tiebreaker against a really tough opponent and then to be up and only to lose in a short margin. I think it's just always the fact he just beats himself up constantly. He really needs to just get over the emotional feeling of coming so close and losing at the final line. But I think hopefully we'll see a turn in Dave Fink's game this year regarding that aspect.
Hopefully, but also not hopefully. No, I think that's a good assessment. Big setup here for Fink. Goes to that right corner, gets it. Point called by the referee.
You see that with David Fink. He always shoots for the angle, especially when he shoots so high, because when he hits the crack, it makes the ball stay low. It's definitely a very good offensive shot.
Point.
That ball barely gets to the front wall. Point right in front of Danny's face. And there's another point now at 8-11, just 3 points away as Fink. He was
11.
just down 10-4, as you recall. and probably much worse. The ball sounded like it broke, but that's that weird plaster.
Play it again.
That ball was way down, right?
I don't know. Something might have happened in the corner that we didn't see.
Yeah, Dave's talking about getting hit in the foot. That ball definitely went straight down to the ground.
See where it hit your shoe.
Oof.
Oh.
Daniel, do you know if it was going to make it or not?
Danny can't lie
Thank
here.
you. That's the point.
See, Danny wasn't going to say anything, but then when asked, he knew what the truth was.
Oh,
That's smart that the referee does that. Ask the player, because you know that puts him in a position of not
to lie, yeah.
Yeah, Danny wasn't going to volunteer.
There's still players out there that would lie.
Maybe so, but
Oh, no, there definitely
Set
is.
up.
Danny didn't.
Eleven serves 9.
We have a packed house here. Big setup. Nice get right there from Fink. Another big setup.
Set out.
It's a nice rally.
Their feet were tangled up just a little bit there, but Dave put it down just enough. Referee didn't think it altered anything. You might see some of that. No, it was just right there at the end as they call for the towel. I believe the score is 9 serves 11 with Fink serving after this towel break, and there goes our camera, which is a familiar sight. We're going to have to change something up there. We're in the men's quarterfinals. Had an exciting day yesterday, but a very long day of handball here. And it was good to get out
15 seconds.
after the. It's one of those rare ones where we saw so much handball. It was nice to go watch a little baseball last night.
It certainly was a long day, but there was some long matches in the round of 16 that we usually don't get. I suppose it's just the players coming up from the qualifiers were definitely a lot better than they were before.
And we saw Nick Mattiotti. I mean, that was
a very nice surprise.
Yeah, I mean, we've known him as being a great player for a long time, but not on the tour. And then he almost picked off Mondo last night.
Yeah, he had an incredible serve.
Kind of reminds me of Andy Nett.
Yeah, that's exactly what he reminded me as well. A big server, but also had the ability to kill from strange angles.
Those tall bodies, those tall guys like Sean Lennon
11 serves 9.
Exactly.
Andy,
Very
they
hard
get
to pass.
creative.
Yeah.
It's a little reverse there from Danny.
Point.
Not sure I'm liking this towel thing here. I just don't know how you can regulate it. I mean, I think the referee just needs to just say it's not wet.
Well, I'm not too sure if it's wet or not.
9.
But David Fink is kind of funny, and he just always likes to speed things up when it comes to the towel, and then sometimes he doesn't like the towel at all. Even when the floor is wet, David Fink wouldn't really want to dry up the floor. You know, sometimes he just
9 serves 12.
I think he always goes on a whim on what he wants to do.
Short. Second serve. Set up.
Nice shot there from Danny.
12 serves 9.
You know, sometimes you, as a viewer, you would say, well, why would he hit it back down the left when Dave's standing on the left? But as a player, you know that when you're feeling it, sometimes you just have to go for the shot when you feel it. Dave's going to argue this here.
It's a point.
Well, going back to that point, I was once told that like when you're hitting a ball down to a player's good hand, especially when you're serving, it's when they come into practice and they've had years of experience of dealing with a ball coming down to the right side, they kind of forget how to return a ball off the serve with their offensive hand, just because he's so used to the ball coming down to his right hand. So it's always a good aspect. Just try that
13
avenue.
serves 9.
Right, I agree with you. In fact, sometimes deep into a match when you haven't served to the right, you throw it over there because it is something that they forget. Now we're at 14-9. This is game point. And although Danny put his foot off the gas pedal for just a short period of time, he's still motoring along here. And there it is. He gets game number 1. They'll slap hands, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dave doesn't have some words with the referee here, just knowing what I know. Interesting first game here. Danny played very solid, Killian, and the crowd likes it. They put their hands together. I'm sure that you can feel that from inside the court. Yeah,
definitely. Danny's making David Fink mostly off balance, and he's putting away the chances that he's getting. David Fink's trying to get hard to play his game. His game is kind of a small off balance game, but Danny's hitting the ball lower than David Fink would really typically like, and certainly not putting away them corner kills that David usually likes to do from back of the court.
I think it benefits having Danny and Luis Cordova living together, or here at least in the same town, because Luis, who doesn't get credit for this, is a hard hitter, and he really has a heavy ball that he hits for his size, and it's interesting because I think that because of that fact, that's making Danny able to play some of these top players a lot better, because now he gets to see it more than he ever had.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, playing Luis Cordova he definitely gets a lot of different personalities in the court. I mean, as we know, Luis Cordova is such a grinder, and he can get to a lot of ball, and like no rally is ever dead really when you play Luis. And also you mentioned that he's a hard hitter, which also gets you used to playing against hard hitters, getting used to that fast pace, that fast offensive drive that you really need to counteract on times of playing pro players. And also he's got these weird shots that also make you they make you ready for like any situation. So like as we know, Luis Cordova has that nice reverse spin lob down the left and the right, which is kind of just, it slows the pace down. It gets you ready for like sealing balls coming at a slow pace. So for a training partner, Luis Cordova is definitely an exceptional one. So I have no doubt that it's just a benefit to have his brother here in Atlanta.
And vice versa.
Oh, yes,
because
definitely.
Then now Luis is able to see somebody that hops the ball, somebody that has the focus of a good solid serve and a first strike. You don't see that all the time on the tour. I mean, some players have that like a Dave Fink style where you serve and you want a first strike. Mondo Ortiz, yourself, where you're looking for that first chance to pounce, and other players want to get into the groove and drive you around. So it's, I don't believe Luis Cordova is a server and shooter. He does shoot, but he's not looking to shoot on the next shot. But Danny is his brother, so they have contrasting styles. I'm sure that definitely helps both of them.
It's unusual for a pair of brothers to have a different contrasting style, because usually one looks up to the other.
Right.
It's nice to see.
And then Dave Fink's got a whole bunch of arrows in his quiver back in Tucson, Arizona, between Luis Moreno, Sean Lenning, Abe Montijo, Shorty Ruiz.
I honestly think it's nearly more the opposite, because the only one seem to be giving David Fink training games is Shorty Ruiz. The other two just seem to be...
They do play, but it's not as regular as it might seem.
It's not as consistent, yes.
But it is nice to have, even if you only play once a month against one of those guys, which is probably about the average, Shorty being, 3 times a week, but, still having an Abe to play once a month and a Luis Moreno once a month is a lot different than having 0 at no months.
Yeah. But then again, I'm still coming into the point where you play Luis Moreno and Sean Lenning. They're known in training games not to not to really care all a hell of a lot, not mainly to get better through a training game. So it's more like when you say Daniel plays Louise, it's nearly like it's nearly like they're playing a final. Every single training game they have is life or death, which is an extremely rare training experience to have at you at a moment's notice. You know,
that's true.
Point.
There's a very quick first point here in game number 2.
1-0.
For Danny Cordova, who wins the first one,
Short.
15-9, and there's a short called by our referee.
Second serve. Point.
Thought Danny was screened there, but referee let him play through that.
Danny is certainly playing well from all
2-0.
all parts of the court.
Daniel Cordova and Emmett Bichot, I believe, are tied at 7th in the rankings.
Side out.
I believe that's where they're at. They're both tied at 7 with Marco Chavez finding himself coming into the tournament tied with, 0.5 points ahead of them, even though he's ranked lower. It's hard to explain it, but
Side out.
all right. You know, if you took off what happened at the U.S. Open
2-0.
before this tournament starts and look at it from that angle where those numbers come off, Danny and Emmett are tied with Marcos because Marcos didn't play at the U.S. Open. So everything that all three of those guys do from this point on will just help out their rankings. Right now, Danny looks
strong, yeah.
Very strong at being the one that's going to be atop that leaderboard between those three.
It's early. It was the first game, so
0 serves 2.
the others still have to play.
Nice dig.
Oh, should have went down the left.
Side out.
Frustrating when you miss your final shot by just a couple inches when you're trying to guide it in like that after you've already hit the floor. Those are the little gifts that you wish that you could get. You feel like you earned it, and then you just do that where you let up a little bit or you try to guide it in and you just miss, and you're like, why can't I be more engaged on this last shot like I was 2 shots ago?
I know, yeah. But
It happens often.
2 serves
I think people
0.
question themselves when they go for them kind of shots because they realize, like this is the moment where I either win the rally or lose the rally.
Right, because I need to breathe.
Yeah, you need to breathe, but you can't hit the ball too hard because then you give a setup. You can't hit the ball too soft because it's obviously going to go to the floor.
0.
So then you're always trying to hit the ball too soft.
Short.
Just because you don't want the ball to bounce and give a massive setup when you should always try and hit the ball regardless.
Right.
Because you're still in the game, if you put it up on the wall. I've done that mistake many a time, so.
Point.
Wow, that's a nice shot right there. Goes over the top of that ball, too, and you see it just perfect from that
4
camera angle.
serves 0.
No, he's playing extremely well.
Point.
None of these players want to move out of the center of the court as well. I think David, if he wants to get more into this game, I think he's really going to have to play from the back of the court.
5 serves 0. Point.
Dave's just off. It's almost as if he's trying to rush it. Some of those
6
shots, even though he
serves
looks like
0.
he's behind, I think he's really ahead of that.
Short.
Where you're trying to get to the ball quicker. So you speed up your hand motion, and you just hit the ball into the side wall. Your timing's just off.
Yeah. Usually at that point, a person should try and slow it down and try and work his way into
First
the game.
serve, 6 serves
Dave
0.
likes to do the opposite approach because it probably works for him in that regard, but the only thing is you lose a lot of points quickly if it doesn't
Side
work
out.
for you.
Now, Dave can score points in bunches. We've seen that many
0
times.
serves 6.
Let's see if he can get that serve
Short.
and shoot thing down. Right, there's a short ball.
I called it short.
Thought Dave was going to
Both
peel
agree.
that.
Second serve. 1 serve 6.
It's a nice replay here. Dave
Point.
just shadowing Danny enough. It wasn't
Yeah. I mean,
a perfect
Danny could have got
shot.
to it,
Serve six.
but he wasn't blocked. But it was a legal block.
Play it again.
That's similar to the one that we saw earlier, except for Danny.
I saw the ball coming. He was just kind of
2
hindered.
serve
Right.
6.
Danny was there.
Bad bounce. 2 serve 6. Okay, play it again. Two serve 6.
Kind of hovering around this 2 to 6 number for a while. Oh,
Point.
wow. From that position, it seems so hard, but for him, it's not so
It's your
hard.
first time out.
No, I think that it's just a thing that David Fink has that no one really else has because, you know, as I
Tennis.
said, yeah, it's more like a tennis swing. It's something that you usually see on a tennis court. And I definitely think it really helps when it comes to that kind of shot in handball. Because he opens his hips so much before he even hits the ball. And especially since, like, in such an upright position, it definitely makes that shot possible.
Is it that he's going when he's open like that? Because clearly he has a stance like he's hitting. You know, he's a lefty in tennis as well, but he's a righty in golf. So I'm only saying that from that standpoint, when he's hitting that forehand shot in tennis and having that
30
open
seconds.
stance, is he going over the top of that ball to keep it down?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean,
It's sort of like that's just part of the motion.
yeah. But
That's
I mean,
why.
he also has a backup plan. He always shoots for the corner because, you know, if it hits the sidewall, it'll stay down as well, just in case, because, you know, it's very hard to keep that shot down. You know, Sean Lenning does the same. He always, like, when he hits the ball up so high,
10 seconds.
he always goes for the angles because, you know, the crack will always keep it down for you. It's extremely difficult to beat when people are getting a lot of cracks in the game. But saying that, Sean Lenning and David Fink can hit plenty of straight kill shots that do stay down from an upright position.
Play resumes. 3 serve 6. Point.
Now 4 to 6, and that was it might have looked off balance, but Dave
4
feathered that
serve
ball out of
6.
his right hand into that right corner. 4 to 6. You just keep giving Dave that same opportunity. He's going to keep getting these points like this.
Oh yeah, sure. If it works,
Point.
he's never gonna change
5
it.
serve 6.
So.
Fink loses game 1 15 to 9 or 9 to 15,
Point.
and he was down here, I believe 6 to 0, and now it's a 7 to 6, 7 to 0
serve
run,
6.
7 to 6 score line.
Well, as you said, David Fink found that serve and shoot that we all know that he can run off with.
Play it again. We're going to replay it.
We have a lawyer up there in the referee's circle. Ryan Pesh.
He was holding up.
He was so good when I
He was
first saw
holding
him,
up.
I thought he was Irish.
Yeah, he doesn't play like an Irishman.
I called it when I called it.
Trying to give you guys a compliment.
Then he was holding up and we
I
replay
accept
it.
that, but Ryan Pesh has an extremely good serve and an extremely good back wall kill.
6
Likes
serve
to keep
6.
rallies short.
An extremely good sparring partner back
Sure.
in Minnesota, Andy Nat.
6 second serve. Second serve. Play it again.
Do you see something that ball slid? Also went underneath Dan's legs,
Yeah,
but it
it
slid.
looked like Dan didn't anticipate that shot coming off the sidewall that steep.
That's that left that you said that slides over there.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's extremely hard to see it, though, because even when I was reffing it yesterday, I seen it like once or twice, and, you know, it's so slight, but I'm pretty sure when you set up for a shot, you know, you do notice the slightest things because you're just so used to the ball reacting to the walls, you know.
That's why I contend that you guys just don't lie in the spur of the moment when it comes. See, that one looked like it almost had a little slide out, too, but another great shot from Dave. But, you know, when someone would question whether the ball would slide, I know the referee has to
between the
stick to the
line
rules.
and the service line right there.
But I almost say that as a referee, if a player says that it slides and they're adamant about it, it slid. They're not going to just say it slid randomly out of the blue.
Yeah,
you know you're focused on that ball, and you see the slightest movement that you know is not a hop.
I know. That is a great point, and for now it probably is that way. But if you bring that into the system now, people will eventually take advantage of it, and then they'll see a flaw in the system, and you know it's something we want to avoid. So I think the way we do things now is just as right as it always should be, because you know back when handball used to be different, like when you had Tom Sheridan and Duxie Walsh, they would definitely take advantage of something like that. So
yeah, there's some players here in the States that certainly would have
8 serve 6.
Taking advantage of stuff like that. 8-6, 8-point run now for Fink after being down 0-6. Dave's saying that he hit him in his backswing. He's saying he's so close to him that when he hit the ball, he's immediately making contact.
It looked like you had a shot at it. I didn't. You guys have been playing close all game. We're going to replay it. We're replaying it.
I don't think it's as blatant as David says it anyway. I can see where he's coming from, but
when I see an avoidable, I'll call it. 8 serve 6.
Welcome to the tour. Wow, I like that creative shot there from Danny. Danny looks a little bit more assertive here.
I thought you wanted it.
What do you do as a player when you don't seem to get rattled in the court or even talk to the referee, but
you got past him, you had
certainly you have to get frustrated sometimes when everything goes against you. At least you think it goes against you, whether it is or isn't. Do you have to call a timeout and have...
He's talking to the head referee.
To kind of calm myself down, rethink about things, and refocus. So I don't really kind of get too upset, because after all, I know that at the end of the day the referee sees the game differently than I do, and you know, like I do get frustrated, especially playing people who don't like to move out of the center of the court, like Luis Moreno and stuff like that. But generally, I just kind of like play through the next point, and
6 serves 8.
Just kind of keep going with the same mental focus I had before that.
Well, Dave's doing what he normally does, and that is that he's getting the crowd into it, but not in the way he wants them to get into it.
Yeah.
Now you hear a lot of chirping out here.
Side out.
Got lucky there. That ball just squelches out of that left side wall. Danny believes the ball's broken.
I'm just checking it. I don't see it.
Danny thinks the ball's broken. The referee says he can't see it. Dave's yelling at the ref saying you can't make it break. Ref says I'm just checking.
I'm pretty sure squishing the ball isn't going to make the ball break. Ryan's strong, but it's not that strong. he's not feeling as sure of himself anymore anyway. He's not trying to put the ball down like he was at the start of the first 2 games.
I like how he feathered over the top of that ball on that one.
And he put a reverse in it, made it die before it hit the back wall. Made it near impossible get that pass shot.
Dave, there's a big wet spot back here too.
But Dave Fink did something I haven't seen, I think, anybody ever do, and that is called a timeout, I guess, goes over to the next court where the head referee is actually playing a playoff match and walked in during the middle of the rally to try to get the referee fired from the job, which I hadn't ever seen before.
I know, yeah, it's strange. David really likes to dictate things here, but
right in the middle of the rally.
I know, yeah.
6 serves 8.
It's interesting.
I don't think I've ever heard that happen before.
Well, it did. Out of the 5 things that you've never heard happen before, 4 of them involve Dave Fink.
I'd say that's not far wrong.
Can I see the fronts? All right, let's change them.
There's going to be a 2-minute glove change now.
See, it's something strange about David Fink. He doesn't like t-shirt changes or glove changes, but he seems to be very fond of the towel to catch a small, quick break. You'd think that he'd always like the glove change and the t-shirt change, especially when he likes that towel intermission.
How are your gloves, Daniel? Daniel.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Daniel,
I figured once a towel person, you're going to like it in every situation. I went out to a nice 5-star restaurant with Dave once, and the waiter came along and offered the napkin, as they do. You know, they put it in your lap. And Dave said no, and the waiter's probably never heard that in his entire life. And so he went to put it on Dave's lap, and Dave said no, put his hands up. So then the waiter the server, still not quite understanding, he just decided to lay it in Dave's lap, and Dave took it and flipped it on the floor. Said, I don't use napkins.
Oh.
So, but he does on the handball court. He uses it a lot, but not at a 5-star restaurant where you actually do need it. So he's got a thing with napkins and towels. It's a love-hate relationship, I think.
Might have some sort of phobia.
One thing unique about handball in general, but handball tournaments, is that the crowd is right up on you, whether you're playing 3-wall, 1-wall, 4-wall. And you want to make a glove change or take off your shirt and change.
And you might even have a seat to get on.
Yeah, you have to actually go down a hallway, and in most cases you're standing right in front of people you don't know with your clothes off, trying to change your socks. It's hard to do.
Or someone trying to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
During the timeout.
Hey, remember I talked to you once 15 years ago?
Yeah, well, Jimmy London's good at that.
Jimmy is supposed to be at this tournament.
I've seen that, yeah.
We're back into play here.
Skip.
And there, Dave
I
just
didn't see the
missed
ball.
that.
I called a skip. Both agreed.
The camera was blocked by
8.
Daniel Cordova.
The ball looked like it slowed down a lot. Nice serve from Danny there. Get that towel ready.
Skip.
Ooh. And this is just not the job Ryan Pesh wanted this morning as this referee.
I don't think anyone really wants to ref David Fink.
I wouldn't mind reffing in the round of 16. It's quarterfinals and semis and finals that I would shy away from.
I honestly don't know why he always gives the referee such a hard time, especially when David Fink doesn't do much of it himself.
8 serves 8.
He doesn't really kind of comprehend how hard it is to referee sometimes.
Side out.
And he's not a bad referee.
No,
but he
he's
just
not, no.
doesn't do it a lot, mainly because he's usually in the broadcast booth. But a lot of times he's not in the broadcast booth.
I think he just doesn't really like to referee. I suppose no one really does, but unless you're David Steinberg or someone who really likes to take authority into his own hands.
That's a great shot. You mean somebody that makes it all about them when they're reffing?
Well, just likes to call avoidable hinders when they're clearly not.
Foot faults and
yeah.
Obsessive foot faults.
Yeah.
One of those is coming up on the court here soon, Marco Chavez, who finds a way to make it about him. Dave should put this away. Look at that get from Danny, though.
Oh.
He anticipated that right corner kill, was right up there almost before Dave even hit it. Watch this. Danny knows exactly where it's going to go.
That's extremely
an amazing
great. Yeah, that's an extremely great get.
Slams into the wall. That's crazy, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Great instant replay there from Chris Garrad. Filming done by Linda Manning.
It was very impressive that he actually got it before it even hit the side wall. Usually people wait for it to hit the side wall just to give yourself a bit more time. But that was some great hustle.
I like how he breaks around Dave there while Dave's still in the swinging motion. And you see him already turning the corner, heading for that spot. But he loses the rally.
Mostly out of 9 times out of 10 you do lose them rallies just because you are out of position and completely vulnerable. I suppose that's why people like David Chapman and Tony Healy realized that and developed the re-kill.
8 serves 8.
The dive re-kill. Now adopted by yourself.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Well, earlier in your career, you would dive and flip the ball up. Now you're starting to...
I'm pretty much doing the same thing, Dave.
No.
I see a change.
Yeah, a small bit, yeah.
8 serves 8.
Watch this. Watch what Danny does with this ball. It's a little bit out of the camera angle, but it was a crazy angle.
Yeah, definitely. Tried to catch David in the off balance.
9 serves 8.
Now Danny has the lead again for the first time in quite some time. Look at that nice hop right there. Dave, like you said, likes to take that ball early, and if he was able to let it come off the back wall, he'd get it back. I think that was a good serve, though.
I think he was a bit complacent on that serve, though.
Point.
And there again.
See, now there's a lot of confidence. Dave has to call a timeout here if he wants to break it because Danny's got 3 in a row.
8.
That has fooled Dave.
Short. Second serve.
Does he go for it like Sean Lenning? Doesn't matter. This is a big setup.
Danny's really liking that right wall today.
Point.
And there it is. I believe we're at match point here. Unless we're at 14,
Daniel,
13.
Will you check and see if the court's wet in front of you? A couple steps up.
Now, this is something, since Danny's on this nice little hop streak going on here. You, yesterday, mister, I was watching your match. I saw you pull off this wicked reverse. Is that something you're working on? Or, because, I mean, this is something...
If I had to be really honest, I mean, like, I think it was more what Tyler Stoffel did. And to be honest, it was a screen serve.
12
no, like,
serves
I'm not going to say to the referee it was a screen serve, but I think it was a screen serve. And then Tyler moved too much to the left, and then the reverse. I think it was. It looked more dramatic than it actually was.
Because I was like, snap.
Short.
Because if you got that,
I called it short.
In your arsenal,
Called the serve short.
It's done. Okay.
Both agree.
Because if you're starting to throw that
serve.
stuff, which then I was talking to some of the guys, they said, "Oh yeah, he does hop the ball." I go, "Well, I hadn't noticed it like that, but maybe you're right. I saw the dramatic kind of." Because that's exactly what happened, was that it was a slight screen, but Tyler overran it and it went into him, and I thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think it was a savage spin like you'd see Luis Moreno or Denny Cordova do. So
9 serves 12. Point. Or side out. Twelve serves 9.
Is Mondo Ortiz starting to try to create a rivalry between you two?
Point.
Every time he walks by, he's always like blowing you a kiss, and you ignore him. And is that you trying to get into your head? Is
not always trying to get into my head. I think that he's just like a friendly character. Always likes to interact with everybody.
See some of the players this week here at the facility, and I'm certainly hoping that we'll catch it on the live broadcast. But you see Marcos and also Mondo Ortiz wearing their shoes with the initials BM on them. Stands for Ben Manning, who passed away. This past year, it's Linda's son, who you remember seeing on our live broadcast.
I do, yeah.
He passed away from cancer, and some of the players are paying tribute to him with their initials written on their shoes. So if you look around, you might see the BM.
I'm pretty sure the camera won't spot it unless we do get a close-up of someone's shoe. But, yeah, it's a very nice touch, I suppose.
You know, our monitors, I know, from in our booth here look dark, but that's not how it is broadcast out, per se. It's just this crazy monitor we have here. So I think it would be more obvious if you were able to see it. But look close next time you see a shoe shot. Some of the players here honoring Ben. That's a crazy pass. Listen for the score here from our ref.
9 serves 13.
9-13.
Oh, nice.
Point.
That's a
That's
great
a nice
shot.
finish, yeah.
We all wish that we can hit that exact shot with our offhands, like Dave does with his
It's an
strong
extremely
hands.
difficult shot to go the opposite direction because of the spin you put on it. It
Sure.
always comes short. But no, it's extremely effective when
serve.
it does happen.
I still think Dave's good from that corner
Point.
as well, and he does hit that kill shot. But saying that you're going to pick on his
11
right
serves
isn't
13.
necessarily something that can happen.
No, he actually looks extremely awkward with his right hand, but he seems to just do shots just as effectively, you know, with his right as he does with his left.
Point.
Well, Dave is a former pro golfer and holds a pro golfing card, and he golfs right-handed.
Right where he's
Yeah,
standing.
He also plays baseball, swings a baseball bat right-handed, and shoots right-handed in basketball, where he was on the club team at the University of Arizona.
Yeah, but it's really strange, like.
But he has an awkward swing there with his right, but it is effective.
No, but it's the fact that, you know, the way that you said David Fink's right hand is when he plays golf with his right hand. Sorry, he plays tennis with his left, but it actually shows in the handball court a lot because he's got two different swings, one with his left and one with his right. His one with his left is a lot more when he's actually shooting the ball and
12
making
serves
contact with the
13.
ball. He's giving it everything he has, and he's pushing through a follow through with with a lot of exertion. And then with his right, you know, when you play golf, you're only told to hit the ball about 60%, you know, and he's not actually doing the same thing as his left as he's doing with his right because he's holding up. He's actually a bit more
13
composed.
serves
As I said,
13.
it just looks a bit more awkward because he hasn't developed a nice technique.
But the composure part, that's a screen. No call from the ref, and now it's 14-13, I believe.
Yeah.
That could have been called, though.
Could have been.
14 serves 13.
Wow. This could be a tiebreaker here if Dave gets this last one. And he goes for it. Danny dives in, and Dave misses it there, and the crowd puts their hands together, and Danny's going to be back in the server's box. That was a great rally. Look at this. Dave goes for that shot. Danny leaves his feet.
I'd say there was a small bit of accidental spin on that return. Certainly cost Dave Fink off balance anyway.
That was amazing.
Just like his brother, he's definitely goes for everything and tries to keep the rally going.
Yeah, let's change your shirt, Daniel.
And this one's going to be delayed just a little
Change
bit
your
further
gloves,
now.
too.
Glove change and shirt change both happening at the same time here. Something I find interesting about Dave, and we're talking about that right hand. I have played him a few times in Tucson, and I'm right-handed and he's left-handed, but he does things with his right that I can't do with my right. And it's very similar to playing Luis Moreno, who I've played a lot. His left hand, he does things that I didn't even, I just don't see how you can contort your body to do it. Sort of like how Sean does, where he picks balls up off the ground on that short hop, but then is able to go over the top of it at the same time. That's the remarkable thing. We could all pick up a short hop, but then to go over it and hit reverses with your offhand, that's just not right. I mean, I tried to do that for months and learn that shot, and all it gave me was an elbow and a shoulder that were sore.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't work for everybody. You really have to kind of pick and choose what you can do.
I don't think you can teach it. I think it just has to be something that you...
You probably can't teach it, no, but they're very eccentric guys. I'm pretty sure they thought about it somehow and definitely tried to make it work. And over the course of a long time, they definitely came up with an extremely good result and very effective.
In watching your game over the last 4 years, I've seen that you've made these leaps. I contended to Dave Fink that you were the comeback player of the year last year, even though you were already the national champion, because you've made such a huge leap. I felt in your ability got so much better. You do a lot of sparring by yourself and a lot of training, but you don't play a lot of players. You must be going into the court practicing new things all the time, or at least trying to refine the things that you know how to do, because I have never seen this much improvement from somebody that hadn't played top handball.
Oh, it keeps me interested, to learn new things, and especially things that I already have to make them better, just because it's an arc of progress that, if it doesn't happen, things just do get kind of dull and boring for a while.
There it was. That would have been the 14th point, and he goes for a fish shot that seemed like it cuffed him.
13.
Here it is. Game point to try to force a breaker now, 14-13. And he's going to get back in the server's box. Fink is mad at himself. Now, you have to remember, you have to win by 2. So if
Daniel took the towel.
Danny
I think
wins
it's that white one.
or gets another point here, we're going to be in overtime.
Yep. But this is what I said. This is typical, like David Fink. He's playing a really tough opponent here, and he's had a chance twice to come through, but this is where he usually kind of fades off, especially with a couple of disappointing chances that he could have put away. I think if David really wants to win this game, I think he's just going to have to win by a lucky shot. But as I said, this could be the year we see a change in David Fink's game, hopefully for the better.
13 serves 14.
13-14 here. Danny wins the first one, 15-9. That was a reverse.
Side out.
Wow. Right in front of Danny's face. Takes moxie to do that, but that's a shot. That's what I said earlier. If you get your pet shot,
13.
it feels good. Oh, wow, there it is. Fink gets that last point, and he is going to force a tiebreaker, and we are going to take a timeout. We have a 3-minute break, 4-minute break now, so stick around. We'll be back, and we're going to just give a slight break here to our broadcast partner, Killian Carroll, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Stick around here. As the Race for 8 continues, stop number 1 in Atlanta as Dave Fink and Danny Cordova are going to a tiebreaker. Stick with us. We are back here in Atlanta, Georgia for game number 3 of this opening broadcast match of the morning. Race4Eight Professional Handball Tour number 7, stop number 1. Dave Fink wins game number 2 after losing the first one to Danny Cordova 9-15. Fink comes back. He had a deficit killing. He was down 0-6, came back and took the lead there 8-6. Danny Cordova came back and tied it, went up 9-8. Danny goes on, and it looks like he's going to win potentially the match, gets up to 13, and Dave comes back, ties it, goes ahead by 1, and then 2, and wins. And that's why we're here now playing a one-game tiebreaker to 15, not the traditional one game to 11. This could actually go higher than 15.
All right.
You have to win by 2 here.
Game 3, Daniel serving, 0 serves 0.
And that's where we're at.
One serves 0. Point.
A towel already early in this tiebreaker, huh?
It is certainly interesting.
I'd always think that it shouldn't really happen, especially this early, because you should probably take a t-shirt change when you're in between games.
Two serves 0.
I think it's muscle memory. Oh. Both of these guys making great gets today, and that was an awesome kill shot there. The ball goes in about 60 miles an hour and comes out about 30. It hit both of those corners. Watch this ball just die.
I know, yeah. It's an extremely great shot. Especially from such an awkward angle as well. I mean,
right,
David
up high. Yeah, and you're fading into that corner. Strange. So much spin on that ball.
He seems to have more consistency from shots like that.
0 serves 2.
From when he gets his setup. So it's really strange.
And strange in a sort of I like it sort of way.
Yeah.
Like it's strange, but I so wish I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique to David. So.
Right out. Two serves 0. Side out. Zero serves 2. Short.
Dave
Second
is
serve.
pretty trendy with those high socks that he wears. Sometimes purple, sometimes yellow.
It used to be a thing on the tour, didn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of his thing. You know how golfers have their certain attire that they wear?
Yeah. Well, Luis Moreno did it for a while, and Emma Pichot did it for a while.
Point.
Danny off balance, goes with that fadeaway left and misses it.
One serves 2. Play it again. One serves 2.
See Danny off balance.
Danny's definitely not playing as well as he
Two
used to.
serves 2.
He's not killing as much, and he's definitely
Short.
not controlling the game. David seems to be taking things into his own
Second
hands
serve.
in this tiebreaker.
I've seen him multiple times here in this match where Dave's trying to push a ball past Danny with a pass, but Danny seems to be able to catch up to every one of those.
Yeah, Danny's a very fit guy, and he's got great agility, and his anticipation isn't bad either.
Point.
That's one of the great things about David Fink, especially since he can kill the ball from such a high angle. You know, it really can confuse the opponent that he can go for three or four different shots in the same place. As we just seen there, he usually killed the ball from that kind of a height and an angle, but then he went for a pass shot. And you could see Danny leaning in towards the left side wall just to make sure that he wasn't going for the kill.
Second serve.
Dave forces a short ball on purpose so he can get some extra breath. You haven't seen that one on tour very much. That's something I thought I was the only one in the world to do, but I would tell my opponent I was doing it. Dave just threw it up there to get that extra breath, and now they're back into another rigorous battle here.
Point.
You would think that maybe he would call a timeout. Maybe he goes back to that serve again.
Yeah, Dave definitely is tiring a small bit, but he's taking his time, making sure that he can definitely recover before the next rally begins.
See, here's another forced short so he can get some extra breath. These aren't things that you think of in advance of this. Trust me, your body says, I can do this, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, David Fink should really call for a t-shirt change because he'd get one. You know, no referee is going to decline a t-shirt change. It's very unusual, especially since the floor is getting wet. He should probably change his t-shirt anyway.
Wow, Danny goes in there like Sean in Vegas last February, and that was a pretty hard hit for Daniel, and he's calling a timeout here.
It's your first timeout.
Danny could have waited till this timeout was over and then called the timeout.
I think it's more of to regroup than anything else. I don't think it's actually just take a break. I think Danny would like to get in there as fast as possible again, so, but just needs a little time to refocus.
This has definitely been a tough battle for both of these guys. Referee giving both of these players plenty of time here. I don't mind that sometimes when I know that it's a great match and the fans are totally into it. If there's a little bit of stalling to reload guns on both parts, because you just never know it's not necessarily favoring anybody except for the crowd who's enjoying it. I'm okay with that sometimes. I know rules are rules.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to win by taking a free ace off a free serve that there's no opponent to return it, but, you know, it's just sometimes some people take huge advantage of it. And I mean,
don't like that. But I do like when both players are tired and there's a timeout and the referee recognizes it and allows them to change their glove or whatever without.
It's just fair game. He can see that they both need it, you know.
Also sees that as a referee, you kind of don't supposed to, but sometimes you're in there enjoying what you're watching as well.
Yeah.
As a fan, not rooting, but watching and.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, referees should just stand up to acts where, like, it's completely just used upon. Like when I played Emmett one time, he took 2 timeouts. When the 2 timeouts were finished, he took a glove change. And then when the glove change was finished, he took a t-shirt change. And it was 10 minutes before we got back into the court to play some handball.
I consider that ridiculous.
Second serve. Point.
There's that kind of strange looking right hand that's highly effective.
7, serving 2. Point.
Dave is definitely giving Danny a hard time.
Danny wants to look at that ball.
Yeah.
Dave Fink is currently ranked number 2 on tour.
8 serves 2.
You're number 1, Killian. What is going on there?
No idea.
That just didn't look normal.
9 serves 2.
9-2 tiebreaker.
Side out.
Danny needs to change up his serve anyway, because that serve
2
down the left
serves
really
9.
isn't working.
Wow, I don't know how Dave got out of the way of that.
Point.
No, that is a point. I agree with our referee.
I don't really know what
3
David was
9.
debating or not. Oh, was it just a replay?
Point.
Yeah, no, it's a side out, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Timeout. That's your
But I meant
first
David was
timeout.
looking for a replay off that shot.
Yeah, he was looking for it, but
it was a good point, yeah.
The ball also bounced up in front of him, though he felt he was hindered. See the players on tour here, your fellow cohorts, all walking around getting ready for their matches. But this one's gone so long that instead of the regularly scheduled 10:45 here East Coast time match between Emmett Pichot and Mondo Ortiz, I saw Sean Lenning and Luis Cordova looking to play at 11:30, which is in 15
seconds.
minutes, which is a match after that. So this schedule is completely messed up.
I'm pretty sure we'll be way behind by the time the 4 matchups finish anyway, because we've got some
10
interesting games coming up anyway.
Yeah.
You have 1 full timeout and 1 30-second timeout left.
Can you take a timeout and come back and take a timeout again without a play?
Yeah.
I mean, you said
Play
it happened
resumes,
against
Daniel
you in
serving 4 serves
Yeah,
9.
the referee should really take the initiative when a person changes his gloves. He should really change his T-shirt as
Right.
well if he thinks it needs changed.
That's a problem with some of these dark
Point.
shirts.
Whereas-
Not necessarily the one Dave's wearing, because you can tell when that's wet, but
Yeah.
these dry fit dark
5
shirts, you
serves
just
9.
can't tell.
Yeah. But timeouts are things that you have that
Short.
are used up. Glove changes
Yeah.
and T-shirt changes will always happen, you know.
Second serve.
I believe a referee could call for, or should be able to call for a glove change, but make it quick. I think I heard you say that one time in Salt Lake, where your player you felt was kind of stalling, so you said, make it quick. This isn't like a 2-minute glove change. This is you get that glove on change. Fink's legs are getting tired.
Fink's legs are getting tired, but Danny certainly isn't putting the ball down when he needs to.
This is one of those needs to times. Another flip back up to the front wall. One of the longer rallies here between these two. Like we're watching a game of Pong. Here's the first offensive opportunity. Danny goes for it. Doesn't go low enough. Who's going to go for it first?
Danny should really be trying to force this rally over.
Now let's see if Dave throws in that short serve. Or does he go
9
for it?
serves 5.
It's very difficult to come in strong after a long rally like that. There it is. There's the short serve killing. Where now he's just going to walk, and Danny throws it right back to him really quickly, but that doesn't really afford him as much time as it may seem.
No,
Second serve.
but you still get an extra 10 seconds because you have 10 seconds to reserve the ball. But you know, like it's
interesting.
It is very interesting. It's something David Fink would give out about if someone else was doing it. So
Right.
he would like bring in some rule to stop that.
I've never seen that actually
5
happen
serves 9.
before from a pro. I've seen it from me. I do it all the time, but I've never seen a pro do it.
But yeah, I mean,
Point.
I'm pretty sure if Daniel was doing it and Dave got upset about it, he would make a point and said, "Oh, we're bringing in a rule that you can't."
6
right.
serves 9.
You can't.
That's true.
Short. Second serve. Point.
Now you can see Danny starting to get a couple points here. Well, I have a memo pad hanging outside my office door that has a whole bunch of those off-the-cuff rule changes just written on it. Oh, you wouldn't believe.
No, I don't know. Sure, last year David Fink was talking about getting rid of timeouts. And
no. Yeah, that's a good one.
He said that there should be a halftime or something. But then it was actually the next tournament he said that there should be longer timeouts, and I was looking at him thinking, well, you change your mind every tournament, don't you?
This should be a setup here. Nice shot there from Danny. You know, sometimes I find that with your offhand, when you're really tired,
8 serves 9.
you seem to be able to hit shots like this.
Sure.
Because it's something that, like you said before, you focus a little bit more at it. You're skilled
Second serve.
in a different way with that. It's maybe more analytical.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was past you.
I agree with the ref there.
I thought it was good too, yeah. I thought there was a reverse spin on it too, which would have put it sliding down the wall slightly like that.
Yeah, that would have been very hard to get.
And David really had given up at that point.
9 serves 9.
We're all together at 9 here. Dave had a nice lead, but now it's a big hop here coming up.
Side out.
You know, every time Daniel does a big serve down the middle like that, he always loses. I think he should really try and focus on coming up with a better serve to make himself better opportunity to win the rally. He always overhits it and gives a big back wall setup. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic serve. If it just goes over the lines and never hits the back wall, but Daniel never really gets that serve in. But, it certainly is a nice thing to see when you put up a tremendous hop on the ball.
9 serves 9.
It was a nice shot there from Danny. But you see Dave lifting his hands in the beginning part of that rally, which is something he does a lot when he plays. And when asking him what he's doing, he said, "I don't know." He doesn't. He said he believes it could be maybe a move in tennis when he hits and
9 serves 9.
forces his other hand up in the air. But he said he doesn't really quite understand. And then one time he said that he's upset that he didn't hit the shot right. And I said, "But you still do it when you hit good shots." He said, "Well, it wasn't good enough." So it's very difficult because as a referee, you're always kind of told that when a player raises their hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Especially when David's like, "Oh, do you not see me raising my hands?" But sure.
It's like, well, you do that every day. I can't
9
tell if
serves
you are
9.
raising your hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the service box, though, at 9-9. That's a great shot right there. Holy smokes. That's shooting from the hip.
Still amazes me how he's able to keep
10
that ball
serves
down.
9.
Yeah, it's supposed to pop up from there.
I think the new ball would suit him, though. The new ball does seem to be better than the last prototype.
Dave wants this cleaned off. The ball hit Danny in the back of the head off that return there. Excuse me, I said it wrong, but Dave served, Danny hit Dave in the head. Dave didn't like
10
how
serves
that
9.
towel was hanging into the court up there.
Flat out.
And that could be one of those crazy balls hitting the front wall, strange bounce things.
Could have been, yeah. I thought I saw a reverse.
Yeah, and with Danny, who knows, because he goes both ways there.
Second serve.
It's almost like they plastered it and painted it with a golf ball. You know, it's got those little dimples up there. A real big golf ball. Crowd puts their hands together for local hometown hero Danny Cordova.
10 serves 10.
We're all together at 10, going to 15, and this match will never end.
Flat out.
I think Dave's called for the towel more times than he scored points.
I think he got it.
Yeah, that's a good move from the referee.
Let's go. 10 serves 10.
No, this is a crazy reference because you're too young to really remember this, but that should be a setup for Danny. But Daniel is sort of like a young version of Dan Armijo.
I could see the comparison, yeah.
I mean, the Git artist, he doesn't get the
Just second time out.
You know, the same sort of thing that Danny Armijo got because of the hand reference, saying that he can get his hand on any ball. But there is a similarity there in the fact that he can track, and you do see him tracking a lot of these balls down. Danny had an interesting hop both ways when he served the ball. Pretty deadly off the back wall when he's on.
He's got that flexible loose stroke as well. You know, that kind of like just flows through the ball and doesn't force anything massively drastic. I could see that comparison. I wonder if Danny will keep playing till he's
70.
70.
Armijo entering the pro qualifier here, losing in the opening round, but it was an entertaining 19-25 loss against Matthew Chu. And then we didn't see him again for 24 hours, where he told us at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, just woke up, which I don't doubt.
He seems to be the only one coming anyway. Danny Bellows probably lost interest in the Pro Tour.
Now, we saw Danny Bell a couple years ago in Houston. He was playing great, and then he pulled a groin. Or either that or it was a hernia issue. But he was playing remarkable, and he was ready to qualify, just gearing up to qualify, playing Mimo Polaris, and I'm telling you, he looked great. And it was a qualifying round, and then he lost.
He's a very headstrong character. Definitely likes to do anything he wants and takes advantage of everything he has, like timeouts, glove changes.
He's sort of a
Dave Fink changes, and always complains to the referee even when he's wrong.
10 serves 10.
Just for the break.
Point. Side
wow,
out.
that's nice. No arguing from Cordova. Not like he should have to, but in reverse of that, I think it would have happened.
10 serves 10.
Altogether at 10, going to 15. Almost fell asleep there for a second. I was thinking that we should call this Race4Eight Professional Towel, not Tour.
Probably, yeah. David Fink definitely has brushed up in his tall boy skills.
10.
Well, Dave had to look at those that were clapping for that shot from Danny Cordova. He gave a nice long look at the crowd there. He was trying to single the people out in his brain for later.
Who are the haters?
Yeah. Big setup here. Nice pickup there from Danny. Oh, nice shot. That was a good shot there. And there's a timeout.
It's your second timeout.
This one's gone on a little longer than I thought when I asked you if you wanted to do the live broadcast with me. I think you were saying, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Oh, you think it was,
I didn't know it was going to be a 3-hour marathon.
I knew it was going to be a close matchup. They usually have close matches between David Fink and Daniel Cordova.
It's only gone an hour and a half. Seems like it's over the 2-hour mark, but...
Oh, well, towel intermissions don't help.
Yeah, that's true. It's sort of like the NFL. That it's actually 13 minutes of real action. The rest are replays and reviews by the umps and the referees. Yeah. Well, that's what this is, except for it's 13 minutes of actual play, but the rest has been timeouts and glove changes and arguing and towel timeouts.
I suppose it's a good thing we don't have a video replay. Could be a lot longer.
Well, we kind of do, but it doesn't hold up the match.
Play resumes. 10 serves 10. Short. Second serve. Side out. 10 serves 10. Point.
Thought Dave was going to argue about a little slide action, but that was Danny's reverse that he put into that wall.
Definitely was a nice shot, nice finish.
Look at that. Nice. Also, the serve was good, too, and that serve hit that side wall and jumped toward the back wall as opposed to checking up and coming out, and that was because of some massive spin that he put on the ball, not from the walls being wet. Should be at 11 to a 10.
11
here.
Serves 10. Point.
Nice serve.
Now 12 to 10.
12 serves 10.
You don't want to give a server this much confidence.
No, but
side out.
3 or 4 serves in a row for a guy like
12.
Danny could be proven as pretty lethal. Big setup. I just haven't seen anybody pass Danny yet.
Point.
And Dave's having to beat Danny on those
kills, yeah.
Those shots that seem impossible.
Well, David definitely really has a good grip
12.
on them now.
Point.
There it is, now tied at 12, just like that. Now Dave's going to have his third straight try here in the server's box.
Point. 13 serves 12.
Know how these guys keep doing this. Set up now for Dave. Goes to that left corner. Danny thought it was going to be one that he's going to have to dive for. Dave just stays down. Gets avoidable. Doesn't matter. Danny's also putting his hands on his knees, and the crowd liking it here in Atlanta, Georgia.
It was a good rally.
Dave's so tired he couldn't even get out of the way. He just stood there saying, just go ahead and take it.
Well, in fairness, Dave certainly is holding up a lot of good fitness here, especially since he doesn't play a soft game. You know, like you see Marcus Chavez doing. He really gives it everything he has, and to be that fit at that age is an incredible thing.
This is one of those exact moments I was telling you about. Referee threw 2 towels down as opposed to 1, saying, guys, here you go. And you don't see the referee saying, okay, come on, let's go, score. Noticing that the crowd appreciated it, noticing that both players were tired, he just said, okay, here's the towels, towel it off. Probably
David
not.
Fink still has all his timeouts. I don't see why.
The only thing he has left is towels and arguing.
Oh, did he use them all?
Yeah, he hasn't used all of his arguing yet.
All right.
But now you can clearly see that Daniel is just as tired as Dave is. There it is, a great serve. Amazing natural hook from Daniel Cordova.
13 serves 13.
And we're all together again. Man, I don't know if I'd go to that reverse there. Doesn't matter. Dave goes right back to that familiar spot.
13 serves 13. Set out.
Have you ever been in that position, Killian? You dive more than, well, at least you used to, than anybody that's ever played the game. But have you been at that point when you're tired and you hit the floor and you say, man, this really does feel good? Because the floor is much colder than the atmosphere, and you're down there and you're hot.
Yeah, there was this one rally. I was playing the John Gaffney Memorial against Diarmuid Nash. And you know Diarmuid and I, we like to rally and we don't like to give up at all. And there was this one rally where it went on for like a crazy amount of shots, and I hit a good pass shot, but Diarmuid had like ran back, and this was like 40 shots in, and he literally picked the ball up, and it was a complete setup for me up front, and he just lit on the floor, and I didn't know this. 13. All I had to do was tap the ball, but I went for it and missed it. And I went to the floor, and I just didn't bother getting up after that.
It just feels good.
Yep.
You couldn't sleep on the floor if you tried, but if you're after 40 shots, you definitely could. Here it is, match point.
14 serves 13.
See if he goes with that hop that eats Dave up. Goes for a crack instead.
He's got the setup and wants to force it.
This should be it.
Oh.
Dave goes for a paddle. Excuse me, Danny goes for a little paddle off the back wall, and that was a defensive back wall shot. A timeout being called here.
Yeah, 30-second timeout. Ten seconds.
He's going to take all of that 10 seconds.
And he's got another 10 seconds to get to the service line, and he's got another 10 seconds to serve the ball.
13 serves 14. 14, serves 13.
There it is.
That's the match.
Danny gets it.
Nice match, guys.
Danny Cordova taking down David Fink here in the quarterfinals by 15-13 here in the tiebreaker as he rolls right through and now goes to the semifinals with some weary legs. He's going to have to go unwind, and
it'll definitely be interesting to see how he plays later on.
That was a grueling match right there between David Fink and Daniel Cordova. Dave Fink, ranked number 2, finds himself the loser here, and Daniel Cordova takes over and wins this opening broadcast match of the day. For Killian Carroll, my name is Dave Vincent. Killian, thanks for hanging out with us for this live broadcast.
My pleasure.
We'll have another great one coming up right around the corner. Stick around, as we certainly will get Mondo Ortiz and Emmett Peixote next here on the show court. For Killian, my name is Dave. Thanks for listening and watching here on race4eight.com. We'll be back with more action right around the corner. Stick with us.